AMUCD2.
You guys made a decision to call offsides or not during the tournament? Any issues looking here? Very, very carefully, please.
That's cool, just don't trip over pavement.
Idiot.
Sorry, we'll see, wasn't it? You got to turn it, man. Just turn your camera and point it at the scope. Just follow the play, man. Good. Keep that pressure.
Okay, so this match is G Troop from Canberra versus Vanguard from South Australia. Big congested pack there. Sanderson comes up with a disc and it's a play on call. Both teams have had one match during the day at the moment. Now it looks like it's going to be a stoppage after all. Both teams have had one match already during the day and both teams have won their games. G Troop against Manly, I believe. Vanguard, I'm not too sure who they played earlier in the day, but they won on Universe Point. Disgraceful is who they won against. Sanderson with his trademark flick. That'll roll to the sideline. Not the result he wanted. Maybe, unless he wanted some good yard gainage. That's a lovely run through D by Jasmine Malhotra. Tom Babala on the disc. Israel with a very rushed backhand. So both teams coming out fighting with intensity at the start here. G Troop pick up the disc, bring it in on the sideline. Signals he wants the dump with a bit of a head shake. A lot of congestion around that disc. Nice grab, one-handed. Moving up the near sideline. And there's going to be a call on that one. Foul is the call. Discussion going on there. Game advisor coming in from the sideline. So approaching the 30-second mark, which is usually an indication to hurry it up, maybe make a call. There's a handshake there, waiting for some signals from the game advisor. And I think it's just going to be a turn. There's a bit of contested foul, sorry, question mark in my voice there, obviously. Okay, maybe it didn't come back. Nice defense from Barbara. Malhotra's going deep. That's not going to come. Sanderson in the defensive end zone. Back to Barbara. Cross to Foley, doesn't gather that. G-Troop will pick up the disc about, say, 15 metres out from their offensive end zone. That was a great bid on that disc, but a ground strip just as she hit the ground. Bumped into the corner end zone, wasn't able to keep control sufficiently enough for the resultant score. So there's another turnover. Sanderson will take it in on the front corner cone. Quite a deep stack set up. Foley with the first cut inside, makes an easy under. Sanderson's no feel for her. Foley goes to the centre position. Malhotra with hot hands. Israel Sarando manages to juggle it. Should get a gig at a, as a clown, maybe in a travelling show with that sort of juggling skill. Malhotra tried to grab that one-handed. Almost looked as though she turned around to throw it before she actually caught it. It's a bladey disc, but was that up? She's saying it's goal. So G-Troop come out with the first score of the game. G-Troop, of course, being number 2 team of F-Troop from Canberra. Call is for 4 men, gender ratio 4-3. A nice backhand pull by G-Troop. Daniel Tay. Sorry, I missed that catch. Not a very confident catch, but he did take it. Dumps to Jack Hall. Goes to Foley. Foley continuation. Batista. Batista makes another lovely cut to White. White just overthrows it with a flick, says sorry. It's a hot disc there, gets a hand to it, but a lovely second effort there from G-Troop. Foley on the mark, G-Troop dumps again. Big hands from Jack Hall on defensive mark as well. It's a lovely around. G-Troop measuring their options, taking their time, making sure of it, which is good to see in these conditions. We've had steady rain all day here. Not a lot of wind to speak of. Slight zephyr. backhand force gives Jack Hall the big wind up. Ben Foley with the layout doesn't manage to gather it. Unhappy with himself on that one. In the end, even though the catch wasn't made, it was great yardage gain from Vanguard. G-Troop looking up the line. Was there a hand in that? It's just a turn. Maybe it slipped out the hand. Hall to pick up the disc. Nice cut in from Batista. Looking for the cut up the line from Tay. Probably needed to pivot out wide. Rather, he's had very flat feet on that. A very ordinary dad-like backhand throw upfield, hoping more than anything for a reception. G-Troop bringing it in on the sideline. Forces flick. There's a bit of a trip in the middle of the field. And slippery ground all around. It's got like a bullet, but gets there, gets to the intended, a intended receive from G-Troop. And again, it's very close to the sideline. I'd like to see where his feet were there. There's a big wind up. Tay, the Shrek lookalike at the moment on the field with green war paint on his face. Managed to get high enough just to give doubt into the receiver's mind. It's a nice floaty one. Foley with a receive. Kathleen with another under. Jack Hall up the line. Hammer to Foley. Has had a bit on it. It was quite spicy, that one. Puts the one hand out. Try and get it. No grab. Turnover. G-Troop, front of the end zone, looking to make it 2-love. Foley on the mark. Now he's fallen over. Gives a free shot just about. Nice vision from Tay to try and get across there, but G-Troop, all class at the moment, 2-love. So G-Troop calling for 4 ladies in the mix. So at this point it'll be 4 women, 3 men. Smith with the pickup to Foley. Foley number 2 with just a bit too much zip out the hand in front of Batista. That's a lovely low inside break. A lovely grab as well, low to the ground. Bit of a leap there. Foot fake, stamping the ground as well. Another inside break. G-Troop, just credits to their account, adding them one at a time, 3-love. So Vanguard calling it a timeout, taking their time on their line calls as well, the full 75 seconds. Making G-Troop wait in this rain, which is coming down heavier. See what Vanguard can do with this pull. Vanguard down 0-3 at the moment. Nice long put. Scott White unable to hold his footing. Probably already run a little bit too hard. A bit out of Foley's range with these weather conditions with a slippery disc. Again, that inside break, just nice and buttery. Crossfield. Two takes on that. Foley gets his disc back. Looks at the dump. Gets the disc back. 1-2. Scott White managed to get that. Let's see what he can do with the disc. Oh, Hotra. Was that Lee? Lee, sorry. Blurry vision on my camera. Ben Foley with 1 foot in. Almost got the one-handed grab. So at the front of the end zone there. Looks like G-Troop about to put the 4th point in their bank account. Easy dump. Pointing to travel, I think, on the front of the end zone. Yeah, no, lovely score, and there's the 4th point for G-Troop. Marching away strongly. So G-Troop showing a clean pair of heels here to start off this match against the South Australian team, Vanguard. Registering 4 points on the board. Vanguard unable to score yet. Conditions here very wet would be an understatement. It's been a slow, steady drizzle. Probably a bit more than a drizzle, actually. It's great weather to lay out in, and we've seen a few bids. Have a look at some of our other live streams on the Ultimate Australia YouTube webpage. Also hope to give you a highlights package later in the day. Again, Vanguard using their full 75 seconds. Chow with the disc. Barbala with a big put. That's going to fall well short. G-Troop with an easy D there. It's an open dump. Still not manning up. There's a zone happening. There's a bit of a hole there. There's a beautiful pick up there by G-Troop as well. Goes for the long huck himself. Will it come back in? Staying out. No, it's not coming back in. So the disc is coming back in pretty much where it went, where it was thrown after such a nice take. Now Hotcha making a lovely cut, Chow as well. Easily picked off again. That was a great read, great leap. Steadied himself on his feet so he wasn't going backwards, which can detract from the vertical leap that you get. Read the disc well, plucked it out of the air. G-Troop back with possession now as they swing it across to the near side of the field, and the zone from Vanguard is still on. I've gone over the top. It's a give-go option there. Very big sideline talk here. Bit of a hole. Looking at a pommy zone here at the moment. Nice big, it needs to get back up, otherwise they're one man down in the middle of the field. As G-Troop as they race away to a 5-0 lead. And there we got the replay here. Hard on the marks, Foley trying to get it. Here's that layout bid, tries to get it. Probably just need to accelerate just a little bit earlier. That was a low throw almost into the ground. Probably would have been a foul on that anyway, taking him out. Easy as you like, into the open space. Uncovered player. Nice catch by Hall, swung to T, back to Hall, back to Tay. Foley looking long down up the line. Just fell short of Batista. He made a lovely deep cut. Forces maybe straight up, maybe backhand. Tay gets a hand on it. Shrek's in the house. Nothing coming upfield. Moves it infield to Foley. He puts one out wide, but that's going to land short as well. To a lovely cut by Kathleen. Big put. Six 0 to G-Troop. Vanguard need to do something in return. They need to figure out what to do to counteract this. And they need to do it quickly. There's the cut from the back of the stack. Daniel Tay just doesn't go with his player enough. Feels he might be able to get the D. Goes over his head. Easy as you like across the field into that space. Babler with a disc. Across to Sorrento. Johnson with a cut in, just goes through her hands. Inside break. Looks like some conversation on the field. I'm not too sure what's going on. No signals anywhere. Just discussion at the moment, but too far away to hear what it is. It sounds like a call quite a way back. That's not quite what G-Troop wanted, but definitely Vanguard aren't too disappointed in the result there. Just going behind the cutter of Malhotra as she's coming in. Need to be slightly more on target. Open player picks the call, running through the stack. Just cleaning that up so a second pick doesn't happen. And just over the top of the hands of number 55. Sorrento, I think he'll want to put this long actually, and there he goes. It's quite a nice disc. Malhotra's going to it. Vitran, the long cutter for Vanguard. G-Troop looks off the dump, calling him back, might want a number 2 option again. There it is. Nice split of the defense there by G-Troop. Back to the dump. Nice working of the disc, gains a bit more ground, it's coming outside in beautifully, G-Troop. What's going to happen here? Line cut, score, 7-zip. So I'm not too sure what Vanguard needs to do here. It's just it's more clean play overall is what I feel. They're just not hitting their targets well enough. You can see that beautiful play down the line. Just milks a couple more steps out of that. Another one. Not really long throws, but they're pinpoint. They're hitting their targets, G-Troop. Another timeout called. So Vanguard calling, I think it's their second time out for this half, as they're in a whole lot of trouble at the moment. They're 6-0 down to Canberra's G Troop. 7-0, my apologies. It's a nice bid, Foley, to save the rolling disc. Batista has moved into a handler position. Sanderson on the line. Nice cut from Batista. Inside flick from Sanderson. Just need to move it up nicely. Chow with the disc now. Good movement down that sideline. Foley again. Over the head of Batista. Chow should get that. Sanderson might pick it up. Doesn't. That's a turnover. There's a foul call on that. It's Foley getting it down the sideline. Looks at his feet. That goes over the head. There's Chow in there at the moment. Chow previously with the disc to Foley. Didn't quite get to see what happened in that movement, but Chow obviously injured and down at the moment. Players just gather around their teammate, trying to give him some moral support. There's the collision. See how he lands. Slips out. And that. Yeah, just as he landed, I think. Somewhere in his shoulder, maybe. So Chow comes off, possibly with something in the shoulder, pop dislocated, who knows. But our best wishes are with him. Meanwhile, we have an injury sub for Vanguard. We've got Smith on the field. Looks like it's uncontested foul. Smith is holding the disc at the moment. We're ready to reset play here. Sanderson gets the disc back from Smith. Puts a big one up to Foley. Vanguard breathe a sigh of relief. It's their first score. Vanguard down 7-1 to G-Troop. There's Sanderson with the disc. Big outside in flick over the top of the head of the G-Troop player. He gives up, knowing it's just going to beat him anyway. Foley breathes a sigh of relief. You can see that. Yes, I've got it. Thank you. John Brill goes in to congratulate him. So Vanguard with their first pull to G-Troop after scoring that last point. G-Troop making some great ground on that throw, that flick. That's going over the top. Will the wind pick up? I think it will, yes. Fortunately for G-Troop, the wind just picked up during mid-flight of that disc and made it go over the intended receiver. Now Hotcha with the disc. Sorry, that was Lee with the disc. To Malhotra to Tran. Tran just giving that too much of an inside break rather than down the line. And get a turn. Almost on halfway. Nice low flick release. Look, wants the dump cutter. Interesting backhand scuba. Could have been a bit of hand in there from Lee on the mark. Disc tap back in as the disc is brought back to the thrower. Easy under. Pick called. Pick didn't affect the play, so it will stay with number 19 of G-Troop. Brill gets a hand there. Brill goes long. Sando with the pick up. It's a low flat release. I'm not too sure. I think he might have been in anyway, but it's definitely now the score. And Vanguard get their second point. 2 in a row. G-Troop still in control though, 7-2 up. There's a hand just there from Brill. He knows there's no one ahead of him except for Daylight, so he's sprinting down the field. Sanderson picks up the disc. Big backhand huck in. Nice bid from number 19 to get it back, and another bid there. And a great take there. Kath Lee streaking along with Brill to help that score. Jack Hall with the pull. It's a low flat one. Well caught by G-Troop. Springs it round to the outside. G-Troop working it up to the halfway line. Wind is occasionally gusting, but still that downpour of rain. One-handed grab. That's a lovely take overhead by number 32 and G-Troop. And that'll take half. G-Troop will take half now, 8-2 with that score. We'll see you after half time, after we see the highlights of this point. G-Troop with a convincing first half, taking it 8-2. And a big pull there by G-Troop as well, passing Jack Hall, who lets it run out the back of the end zone, giving G-Troop a good defensive setup. It's going to float a bit. I have a feeling G-Troop are going to come away with this, and they do, with an easy defensive catch. Travel's been the call on the throw. Probably just a change in direction. Ben Foley explains why he called travel. Disc in. Nice up the line cut. Over the head. Continuation, call retracted. Daniel Tay lucky to get away with that one. Gets a hand to it, but not a solid defensive catch, and just falls short of the G-Troop option. And that was almost a Callahan option there for G-Troop. Nice low throw there. G-Troop now 9-2 ahead. There's the score, nice and low. Apologies for the camera angle there. G-Troop with a nice bladey pull. Wind's gusting a little bit now, a little bit behind us, going from near to far, and also maybe a little bit right to left. Rain still hasn't eased up at all though. So very slippery disc. Both teams looking to make some yardage. And just as I say that, up goes a big disc. Trying to jump from inside to out so that it doesn't come back in downfield. But that didn't happen. It's going to be sent all the way back to where it was thrown. And G-Troop will get the disc well into their offensive half. And my apologies, it looks like it's about halfway. Not easy footing here. You can see by the general nature in which the players are cutting. I think Kay Foley got a hand to that one, helped it into the ground, defensive pressure. Daniel Tay, that's actually a sweet disc, but it's going to stay out. Again, that wind just behind our backs at the moment here, going from near to far, helped it out on the far side of the field. Pick called. That's why the G-Troop player in plenty of space. Take two, bringing the disc back into play. Now the dump, that's what the one they wanted before, up the line and back down. Big defensive pressure in the back of the G-Troop player. A bit floaty, but still hits its intended receiver. It's a nice backhand round the back and a sweet pick up there by Tay. There's a pick call. I think he called a pick while he was still on offense before it had been brought down, or didn't affect play, so Foley retains possession of the disc. Swing to Tay, it'll go back to Foley. Tay with a sideline strike, just not out far enough in front of the extended hands of Tay. G-Troop get the disc back as they dump. A bit of a muddy patch there, open player. I feel there's a pick call there. Not a lot of action going upfield, so another call's upfield. Pick again. Nice second take, second effort there from G-Troop. Easy dump. Again, another easy swing. Vanguard players need to be a bit harder on their players. That's what now. I have a feeling something might go up here. Daniel Tay wanted the second effort, didn't quite want the layout though. It's this nice soft turf to practice your layouts on. No dump pressure, easy under. That one went into the turf a little bit. Maybe a turnover. Hole to pick up. Two Vanguard players cutting to the same space. Doesn't give Hall an option upfield, so has to dump to Tay, and it's a turnover. There's a zippy disc flat along the ground. Intended receiver not there in the space where the handler wanted him. Batista with the disc, looking for something. Lee cuts in, Foley cuts in. Wind's picking up. I'd like to see Vanguard just put it a little bit more rather than play around with it short. Timeout called. Disc is back in play after the timeout. G-Troop still in possession. There's that inside break again, just over the head and hands, outstretched hand to the G-Troop player cutting in. So Vanguard making a little bit of ground on that throw, giving up possession. Call from the G-Troop sideline to pull the stack close, as you saw in that shot. Not a lot on offer short. Again, the wind just pushing that one down into the ground. Slippery disc. Hall poaching the lane. Now there's a bit of direction from the handler. I like to see that. Letting them know where they want them. There's been a drop of temperature here. It's definitely getting cooler, colder with the wind. I can feel the players at the moment echoing that sentiment in the weather, slowing down a bit, feeling a bit of chill in the bones. Foley says to the handler, that was a good throw, sorry that's my error. See quite a deep stack relative to where the thrower is, and that's going to just go drift out of bounds. Foley comes in to relieve some of the pressure. To Batista, nice grab under these conditions. Back to Foley. Does something big. Not too sure if that was intended for Scott White, who was in the middle of that, just as it passed his head. Or whether it was for Jack Hall, who's now on the mark. As you can see again, not much coming in on offer for the short option, so just looking for the dump player. Another easy reset. There's a longer in cut. Goes down the line, stays in nicely for the G-Troop. And if my ears heard me correct, you guys would have heard it as well. There's a siren in the background, so that should be full time. One over the top. Might have been actually siren for something else. Apologise there. It is time cap. Sorry, confirmation. 7-minute games. Almost a good backup effort there by G Troop. One's over the top. Now just gain some yardage. Big backhand huck. Won't matter if that's out. The yardage gain is definitely worth that throw. Tay with a swing to Batista over the top of the head. Foley cleans up as a second effort back up. Back to Ben Foley. Batista just out of her reach. Expect to see another big huck here. Power play. Letting them have the easy unders in these conditions. Oh, that's a great one-handed grab. The score is now 10-2 to G Troop, with time cap having gone, so we'll have game to 11. Here's a look at way G Troop got that score, and again, just Vanguard all with their heads down at the moment, and they're not in a good headspace, giving up the easy unders. Free players everywhere, and that's a great one-handed grab there by number 19. So Sanderson picking up the disc from the port, just landed just out, calls a brick. G Troop putting on a zone here. This will be interesting. There'll be free players everywhere. We'll just see how Vanguard go. Mahocha with the disc brings it over to Brill, looking for the scuba over the top. Malhotra up the line, lovely cut there. Brill's an option if she wants him. A bit too long. Goes for the flick straight to him. Nice from Foley. Malhotra with another easy one. Feet inside the line. Brill. They're moving it up quite nicely here. G-Troop happy to give that up at the moment. That over the top is interesting. Yeah, no, maybe not the quite correct option in this weather. Sanderson unable to take hold of that one. Gives back the disc to G-Troop. I'm sure they'll want to put it long, make some yardage. There's a hand in there, and there's going to be a foul called on that as well. Goes the slightly longer one. That's picked off. There's another easy drop. Sanderson getting in his head now. 2 drops in a row. Won't be happy with that. Lovely low release flick inside break. To the end zone. That's the score. That's the game. That was clinical from G-Troop in the end. Came out winners 11-2. Apologies. So well done to G-Troop. Commiserations to Vanguard. We thank you very much for joining us in this commentary here at the Australian Mixed Ultimate Championships 2017 at not so sunny Nelson Bay. Sorry, just a mental blank there. And stay tuned with Ultimate Australia as we broadcast live throughout the weekend and more matches to come in the day.
Multi.tv.